Welcome our session. I'm psychologist Hikmet ŞAHİN. Title of our study is The Associations Among Economic Hardship and Marital Relations based on the Family Stress Model. The family stress model has gained wide acceptance since the 1990s, and assumptions about this model continue to be a topic of interest. According to family stress model, economic hardships lead to deterioration in marital relations and increased risk for marital instability indirectly through emotional distress. It has been proposed that the experience of economic pressure is psychologically stressful for parents, which undermines the quality of family relationships and lead to poorer child adjustment. Economic pressure gives psychological meaning to economic hardship. When economic pressure is high, married couples are at increased risk for emotional distress, and emotional distress increases couple conflicts, and it leads to disruptions in marital interactions and decreases in marital relationship quality and stability. During the past decade, research that tests FSM in different ethnic groups and in different countries have produced results consistent with the model. In Turkey, one study conducted by Aytaç and Rankin applied the family stress model to the urban married couples. It was found that economic strain had a direct effect on marital problems, and the indirect effect of strain via emotional stress was only significant for women. A model of associations among perceived economic strain, parent-adolescent relational qualities, and psychological well-being was tested in different studies. As a consequence, there is a great need to examine the impact of Turkish economic hardship on couple relations. Considering these issues, the main of this study is to investigate the relations between economic hardship, emotional distress, and marital relations within the frame of the family stress model based on the Women's Report. Consistent with the literature, we propose to model economic pressure and financial concerns. Economic pressure is the objective, and financial concerns are subjective experience of economic hardship. Accordingly, we hypothesize that economic pressure and financial concerns will be positively related to women's perceived emotional distress. Emotional distress will be positively related to psychological aggression and physical assault injury, and negatively related to marital satisfaction and negotiation. It was hypothesized that the relation between economic hardship, namely economic pressure and financial concerns, and marital relations will be mediated by women's perceived emotional distress. Our sample consists of 431 married Turkish women between the ages of 28 and 61 living in Ankara. The family per capita income was assessed using a 5-point scale, and that approximately 60% of women came from middle-income families. As seen on the screen, wife and husbands mainly graduate from university and high school. Data was collected by a questionnaire packet consisting demographic data from the Economic Hardship Index, the perceived stress scale, the marital satisfaction scale, and conflict tactics scales. Chroma of questionnaires are as seen on the screen. The predictor variable is economic hardship. Sample item: during the past 12 months, how much difficulty have you had paying your bills? The mediator variable: perceived stress. Sample item for the scale: in the last month, how often have you felt nervous and stressed? Outcome variable: one of the outcome variable is marital satisfaction. Sample item for the scale: how frequently in the past 12 months you have very serious arguments with your spouse. The other outcome variable is conflict tactics. The sample item for the scale: I showed my partner I cared even though we disagreed. Participants were contacted through students attending public elementary and secondary schools. After the researchers explained the purpose of the study in the classroom, students took the questionnaires to give their mothers. The questionnaires were given to students in sealed envelopes. The researchers visited the women who were identified as illiterate, literate, and primary school graduate at home. For the analysis, we used structural equation modeling to test for two models. In the line with our predictions, findings of our first model revealed that perceived emotional distress fully mediated the relationship between objectively measured economic pressure and two dimensions of marital relations, namely satisfaction and psychological aggression. It was also found that perceived emotional distress partially mediated the relationship between economic pressure and physical assault injury. For our second model, findings showed that perceived emotional distress fully mediated the relationship between subjectively measured financial concerns and marital satisfaction. It was also found that perceived emotional distress partially mediated the relation between financial concern and two dimensions of marital relations, namely psychological aggression and physical assault injury. As seen on the screen, the mediational role of perceived emotional distress revealed similar pattern for two models. In general, our results showed that the family stress model is applicable to Turkey and adds support to cross-cultural similarities in the pattern of associations among financial difficulties and family variables. It is well established that financial difficulties affect the family structure in Turkey. Our findings indicate that economic pressure and financial concerns affect marital satisfaction and aggression indirectly through emotional distress. Because of this advantage of economic difficulties, women feel more depressed. Women also feel more demanding and are more responsible for their family needs in Turkish culture. So, this negative emotional distress leads to marital problems. When we consider family dynamics and atmosphere in Turkey, since the mothers tend to play a greater role in solving daily issues, and since the conflicts generally revolve around such issues, it's only natural that there will be more arguments with their husbands. These conclusions must be interpreted in the light of the limitations regarding the sample, cross-sectional nature of data, and the reliance on a self-report measure only. Results of the study would be strengthened if future studies using multiple measures of predictor variable. Future research, especially in Turkey, will need to extend the current study by including husbands in the analysis. Inadequate economic conditions and concerns about financial issues seem to be main factor regarding disruption in marital relations. Recovery in economic status of couples and psychological consulting will undermine the negative effect of economic crisis. With less time at home and more time for attending social facilities, women may also be less likely to bring home the emotional distress that could lead to increased relationship problems. All these taken together indicate that future research is necessary to extend FSM and explore the associations among family-related negative life events, different aspects of parental relations, and adolescent outcomes over time across more diverse and representative samples. Thanks for your attention.